If there is anything good that could come out of the coronavirus pandemic, it will certainly be the exposure of celebrity culture. Now, she throws in, Arwa over at The Guardian throws in capitalism. No, not so much, but I appreciate the attempt. The rich and famous are desperate to prove we are all in this together. In fact, the outbreak has highlighted just how false that is. Yes. You see, either I'm in my foofy basement studio with my private skate park in my backyard, or I'm in my expensive travel van. I totally get. I'm still working, I'm doing really, really well, and I do not represent the average person, which is why I defer to them when they're lining up in food banks. It's also why I'll defer to some of the people who are worried that opening up too soon could be bad for them, because I'm not in an extremely vulnerable position. But while I will check my privilege, understanding that with your support, I'm able to be safe and be well, and I appreciate it, there are many people who don't extend that understanding to the poor. And it's celebrities who belittle, berate, and request too much. So this is just one of the stories I have pulled up, which I'm not going to show you this one, but I want to show you some others. And then I want to show you the main story about the backlash for celebrities. First of all, we have the story from ABC News. Celebrities reveal new sides during virus but face backlash. We're learning a lot about each other these days, and that's especially true with our celebrities. You see, the real issue is that celebrities are, well, first of all, they're advertisements. They're marketing gimmicks. But as I pointed out yesterday in the story that was ragging on Ellen DeGeneres, these celebrities, they're just here to sell a product to you. They don't like you. They don't care about you. Here's a good example. The Atlantic writes, "The problem with celebrities urging fans to donate during a pandemic. As millions of people struggle with layoffs and lost wages, now is not the time for wealthy stars to be asking ordinary Americans to give money. It's fantastic to me. It's wonderful. It's actually really cool that you have these multimillionaires at a time when people are desperate for money and need an economic stimulus to champion this potential indefinite lockdown, which is now being extended, while living in luxury in their fancy pools and yachts and having nothing to worry about. They sit here and they say, why don't you all donate? Some people do. Much respect to those who can and those who do. But celebrities are, well, it's fake life. It's not real. These people don't know what it's like to be you, and they don't care. They think they can treat this the same as they treat everything else. Popping up on video and being like, why don't all of you donate some money to this cause? It's because we don't have food, buddy. And you do. How about you give your millions? And actually, some celebrities have been smacked down in just this way, coming out asking for people to donate and then being told, buzz off, dude. The economy's shut down. I ain't got no job. You give the money. You got it. We can see it across the board. The Atlantic writes, in a recent video on Instagram, Ashton Kutcher and his wife, Mila Kunis, made an appeal to Kutcher's 4 million followers before Kutcher could finish declaring that these unprecedented times call for unprecedented measures. Kunis weighed in with her own solution, more drinking. Then the couple introduced a new product called Quarantine Wine, a Pinot Noir they're selling for benefit coronavirus relief efforts, priced at $50 for 2 bottles. 100% of the profits will be donated. Quarantine Wine is sold through a partnership with Knocking Point, a winery co-owned by one of their friends. I love that we're in the midst of a pandemic and they're telling us that we should be giving up, we should be buying their products. I appreciate the entrepreneurial behavior. The idea came about because, like many people, Kutcher and Kunis have come to rely on virtual happy hours. Also, I didn't realize those two were married. As they isolate during the pandemic, the couple's new social habits might seem relatable to their fans, but their fundraising announcement has more in common with charitable gestures that their fellow celebrities have made in recent weeks. And I'll be fair. Come on. Selling a product is very, very different than, trying to get people to give away their money. I think it's fine if somebody wants to buy something. In fact, you could be fair and say it's keeping the economy going to varying degrees. There are going to be people who make the wine and all that stuff. So I don't think we can be that critical of them trying to sell a product right now. Although, let's read more. The rapper Ice Cube and the emo band My Chemical Romance, for example, have started selling branded merchandise to benefit coronavirus-related causes. Some ultra-wealthy figures, including the singer and business mogul Pharrell Williams, have taken to social media to ask their followers to donate to various pandemic relief funds. It's the donating I don't like. If you are an ultra-wealthy celebrity and you want someone to give money, by all means, you can go and do it. Don't ask poor people to. Now, if you're somebody who wants to do a charity program, here's what I'd expect of you. If you're a celebrity and you're very wealthy and you want to do like merchandise that will benefit certain relief efforts, that I actually agree with. You know why? It's giving people jobs and it's also benefiting nonprofits. That is how you do it right. So that I can respect. They say such efforts. So the idea, okay, I'm sorry. Of course, many of these stars are giving their own money, in addition to soliciting donations for wealthy causes. That I can respect as well. But their approaches to charity in part reveal a dysfunction that unites celebrity culture and American individualism writ large. Even as the federal government is failing to provide mass testing, yada, 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 blah, 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 they say the nation's wealthiest citizens are offloading responsibility for public health and economic survival onto the shoulders of the people most affected by the crisis. Unlike other mega-rich people who are invisible to the general public, celebrities who appeal to fans for donations are drawing on a foundation of trust. Whether on Instagram or Twitter, entertainers create their posts with an implicit understanding that their opinions, interests, and political views carry weight. The parasocial nature of fan-artist bond, in which followers invest one-sided emotional energy into the relationship, ennobles celebrities' words. Under normal conditions, it wouldn't seem strange for entertainers to be unaware of how their fans actually live. I'm bringing this up for a reason. It's kind of a self-reflect and a bit of a self-criticism because in many of the videos I've put out, I've been very critical of celebrities and those of means living in comfort and luxury while everyone else is locked down, scared, and suffering. But I will point out, in my own defense, I have done promos for the emergency food, and that's because I think you actually should have some. It's something I think would actually be a net benefit to you. I don't necessarily think wine is, but I do like the idea that they're at least trying to say like, hey man, you can buy this thing, right? But more importantly, I've frequently switched for a long time now to not asking people to make direct donations. People do that of their own accord. I actually ask now for general shares. And the reason for it is I'm very, I guess, cognizant of populist versus elitist, and I very much do not like the fact that we have built celebrity culture up where you have people who make a living off of just demanding and exploiting from the poor. I make money off YouTube ad revenue, as well as your contributions, which I really do greatly appreciate. But one of the main reasons why I kind of back away from it, because I do feel that at a certain point, too much is, enough is enough. And I don't know if I brought it up in this segment. I think I did. At a certain point, you just don't need a private plane. You can take the train. It's actually faster. And I recognize that. So when I looked at these celebrities and you look to these I'm not sure if Twitter allows me to, YouTube allows me to say the word, but these women on, say, like streaming services who do basically the same thing. They berate you and they insult you and say, you must give me. That's what you need to do. They're exploiting people who, are otherwise in dire straits to make money. I've been accused of the same thing. It's one of the reasons I want to point this out. We've seen how people like Alyssa Milano immediately give up on what their principles are supposed to be if it means she's going to get Joe Biden a victory. We see how Ellen DeGeneres gets called out for treating her employees. We see how many celebrities are just so completely dissociated or removed from the general public. I'm glad it's happening. I really, really am. They like to say that celebrities are just like you and me. It's not true, man. It's absolutely not true. There are a lot of people, they can't go outside. There was a story on Reddit the other day about Michael Jackson, hiring people to pretend to be in, a mall so he could have a normal experience. It's like, bro, wear sunglasses and a hat and, a mask or something. I don't know. Maybe you can't do it. Maybe people would freak out. Maybe wearing a mask doesn't get you a normal experience. Fine. But they like to say celebrities are just like you and me. And in some ways, that's true. But for the most part, it's not. They live in luxury. They don't worry about what they're going to eat. They eat the best food in the world. They can travel wherever they want. And I know this. I know many of these people. I have seen how they live. I have had people say to me, Tim, would you like to come with us to Geneva for the weekend? And I'm like, are you nuts? It's going to cost like $5,000 to just get a last minute ticket on a Friday and fly to Geneva. But that's how they live. And that's why when these things happen, they really don't get how bad things are. And now I'll throw some shit at the politicians. The elites, the people on top of everything, the people with power, don't understand what it is you go through. And that's why I personally fall on the side of the economy should be reopened. I understand it will be the poor primarily affected by this. But I also understand that there are people who are scared and can't work and want their jobs back. I can also understand why an individual would demand the right to have individual freedoms. Because in the United States, you can be the poorest person in this country. You can walk up to the richest, most powerful man, including the president, and tell him to go shove it. And there's nothing they can legally do about it. Of course, people have extra legal means to deal with, being rude. The point is, if you're somebody who's facing serious hardship and you don't know where your next meal is coming from, the one thing you do know is that you have a right to make the choice for yourself to survive. Unfortunately, now with the decrees and the lockdowns, you have these wealthy-ish politicians, most of them being millionaires, who don't know what it is you're going through and won't advocate for what you need. They'll say, too bad. Too bad. And then you'll get these celebrities that kind of just sit in their luxury apartments and their yachts and gloat and laugh and say, man, Al, it feels like I'm in jail. Ellen DeGeneres made that joke where she said, it feels like I've been in jail because I've been wearing the same clothes and everyone around here is gay. Ha 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 ha. It's so funny. You feel like you're in jail. I don't like the joke, but I'm fine with her making the joke. I just think the problem with it is that it shows it's not so much the gay part of it. That's, what I was critical of that. And I do think, it's silly, but it's that you want to talk about what it's like you want to talk about what it's like to be in jail. Talk to the people who are in jail and who are at risk of getting sick, and talk to the people in New York who live in squalor who are in tiny cubicles. Spare me your celebrity grandstanding about how you're going to save the world and do all these things. Here's what they conclude. Nothing is stopping those multimillionaires from donating money themselves and continuing to stream the battles for free. Under social distancing guidelines, Dr. Dre and Diddy shouldn't be leaving their homes anyway. Why should they charge fans for watching them amuse themselves for an hour? These kinds of suggestions whiff off of cluelessness about widespread poverty at best and disdain for fans at worst. Even as they acknowledge the unprecedented times the whole world has entered, the celebrities of the world can afford to give a lot more than $50 to charity, even if they don't get any wine out of it. Many of their fans don't have that luxury, especially now. If you choose to buy something, I think that's fine. If Mila and Ashton want to sell wine, I think it's fine. All right. Now, I personally try to stick to very, more important things. Like, that's literally why I only promoted emergency food. And it also was to help support my channel, and I thought it was something you genuinely need. And so I've actually put off doing some of the other, I do have another obligation for sponsorships, which I've put off, and I might not get to this month. Because I don't want to be in the position where I'm like, you should go and do these things when you're in your most desperate position. So look, I am in a similar boat to many of these people. I'll be completely honest. And so that's why I'm trying to be as cognizant as possible of the privilege of being able to keep working and of having means at a time when people are desperate. It's why I think many of these people coming out and acting like you should do things or they're better than you or they're going to sing songs to you is just so callous. But ultimately, it's not to be so hard on these celebrities. I understand they're doing what they know. I just hope that after this, we realize they aren't like us. They're removed from us. And even to an extent, I am removed from many of you. I'm certainly not the same as the super millionaire, celebrities in Hollywood, but, I'm doing all right. I'll leave it there. Gotta get back on the road. I should be in LA by the time you've watched this video. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m.